I'm a decent boy just landed from the town of Ballyfad. I want a situation. Yes, I want it mighty bad. I saw a place advertised. It's the thing for me, says I. But the dirty spalpeen ended with, no Irish need apply. Whoa, says I, but that's an insult. Though to get the place I'll try. So I went to see the blackguard, with no Irish need apply. I started off to find a house. I got it mighty soon. There I found the old chap sated. He was reading the Tribune. I told him what I came for, when he in a rage did fly. No, says he, you are a Paddy, and no Irish need apply. Then I felt my dander rising, and I'd like to black his eye, to tell an Irish gentleman no Irish need apply. I couldn't stand it longer, so a hold to him I took, and I gave him such a welting as to get at Donnybrook. He hollered, Milia Multer, and to get away did try, and swore he'd never write again, no Irish need apply. He made a big apology, I bid him tin goodbye, saying, when next you want a baitin', add no Irish need apply. Sure, I've heard that in America it always is the plan, that an Irishman is just as good as any other man. A home and hospitality they never would deny. The stranger here, or ever say, no Irish need apply. But some black sheep are in the flock, a dirty lot, say I. A decent man will never write, no Irish need apply. Sure, Paddy's heart is in his hand, and all the world does know. His praties and his whiskey he will share with friends or foe. His door is always open to the stranger passing by. He never thinks of saying, none but Irish may apply. And in Columbia's history, his name is ranking high. Tin the devil take the knave that write, no Irish need apply. Old Ireland on the battlefield, a lasting fame has made. We all have heard the Meagher's men, or Corcoran's brigade. Though fools may flout, and bigots rave, and fanatics may cry, yet when they want good fighting men, the Irish may apply. And when for freedom and the right they raise the battle cry, then the rebel Yanks begin to think, no Irish need apply. In 2002, historian Richard Jensen caused an uproar in the Irish-American community by publishing a takedown of no Irish need apply, calling it, quote, a myth of victimization, stating the collective memory of Irish immigrants being denied jobs, housing, and opportunity in the late 19th and early 20th century to be false. In exchange, Jensen suggested a popular song of the time, No Irish Need Apply, as being the source of the saying and the cause that the Irish immigrants chose to apply to themselves because of their struggles. Jensen cited the lack of public record in regards to finding sources of a listing, be it employment or housing, within newspaper records, and stated that he found around 2 instances a decade, which seemed to verify his claims. The problem, though, is that Jensen was wrong. Irish immigrants weren't stuck in a culture of victimhood, as he put it. But it wasn't one of his peers that refuted his claims. The case against Jensen and his report came from a most unlikely source, a 14-year-old girl in the 8th grade, Rebecca Freed. Now, Rebecca, who read the article when her father brought a copy home from work, decided to investigate Jensen's claims herself. And in the process, she found much more evidence of no Irish need apply than Jensen had, or at least that he chose to include in his research. Rebecca discovered approximately 50 instances of businesses including no Irish need apply within their newspaper ads between the years of 1842 and 1903, with the majority of these ads being posted in cities like Boston and New York, which just so happened to be the places where the majority of Irish immigrants settled. And in addition to a multitude more ads than Jensen stated he was able to find, Rebecca was also able to uncover several news reports of signs being hung in workplaces, public lodging, and other businesses that specifically mentioned no Irish need apply, which is noteworthy as Jensen specifically claimed no such reports existed. Between these years in question, Rebecca ended up finding 5 times the number of listings that Jensen did, approximately 1 a year versus 2 per decade. But just because Rebecca was able to find so many more sources than Jensen does not mean that the level of discrimination was as high as memory dictates. But it doesn't dismiss it either. It may be a matter of historical sources no longer existing due to the effects of time. There are no more living memories of this moment in American history, and what we do have can be easily skewed by the very plasticity of memory itself. But the fact of the matter is, the Irish people, and Irish Catholics in particular, have a history of discrimination being levied against them by both the English people as well as so-called native-born Americans, throughout the peak immigration years, especially in the late 19th and early 20th century. But today, we sit here in celebration of the Irish, on the quintessential Irish holiday, St Paddy's Day, a day when pop culture dictates everyone's a little bit Irish. The Irish people have had something of a glow-up over the last 100 years that is certainly worth mentioning, and it's no secret that we have fans and friends at STS of Irish heritage who we love a great deal. Amongst almost all ethnic groups, I can think of not a one outside the English who have negative feelings in regards to the Irish people. For such a relatively small country, with a relatively small population, one who in fact have more people of Irish descent outside their country than in it, they are surprisingly beloved and celebrated around the world. So today, I implore you to indulge your inner Irish, whether you have blood or not, and raise a glass for those who fought and struggled and overcame discrimination to become the people they are today. And let us work towards providing the same sort of glow-up for the immigrant populations dealing with the same types of discrimination today that the Irish dealt with 100 years ago. After all, we are one people. Slainte. Cheers. Happy Paddy's Day, everyone. I'm a decent boy just landed from the town of Ballyfad. I want a situation, yes, I want it very bad. I seen employment advertise. It's just a thing, says I. But a dirty spell-peen ended with no Irish need apply. Whoa, says I, but that's an insult. Throw to get the place I'll try. So I went to see the blackguard with his no Irish need apply. Some may think it is a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan. But to me, it is an honor to be born an Irish man. Well, I started out to find a place. I got it very soon. There I found the old lad seated. He was reading the Tribune. I told him what I came for. When he said in a rage did fly, "No," he says, "you are a Paddy and no Irish need apply." Then my dander started rising and I'd like to black his eye, but I cooled it down and asked him why no Irish need apply. And says I to him, "Your ancestors came over here like me, to try and make a living in this land of liberty. They were greeted here with dignity and taught to reap and sow by the Indians who owned this land. They didn't tell you no. But I'll get a job in spite of ye, for I'm willing heart and hand. Thank God there's better men than you all over this great land." And they say that in America, it always is the plan that an Irishman is just as good as any other man. A home and hospitality they never will deny to strangers here or ever say no Irish need apply. But there's some bad apples here and there, a dirty lot, says I, and a decent man would never write no Irish need apply. Some think it is a misfortune to be christened Pat or Dan, but to me it is an honor to be born an Irish man. The end. Thank you for supporting Stories Telling Stories. The STS network delivers high-quality pop culture content from around the globe to your frontal lobe, directly into your brain head. The STS network of shows is available on Stories Telling Stories YouTube channel and in traditional audio format on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever podcasts are found. STS is 100% independent with no ads or corporate sponsors cluttering up the content thanks to the generosity of our supporters. And you can help keep it that way with a donation on PayPal or by joining the STS Patreon for $1 or more. If you like what you hear, please leave a review and share this episode with your family and friends so we can continue to grow the series through Season 5 and beyond. And until next time, stay whimsical.